Bertemu kembali. Adaptasi digital yang pantas ketika pandemik menyaksikan penyelesaian teknologi mendapat permintaan yang tinggi. Ini kerana perusahaan kecil dan sederhana PMKS berdepan kesukaran untuk adaptasi dan juga kepakaran dan memudahkan operasi digitalisasi mereka berlaku. Salah sebuah syarikat yang terlibat dalam segmen ini adalah syarikat Fintech SWIPEY Digital Services ataupun SWIPEY yang menumpukan kepada membina perkhidmatan perbankan digital yang berpaksikan pelanggan untuk perusahaan kecil dan sederhana PMKS moden yang kurang mendapat perkhidmatan di Asia Tenggara. Untuk membincangkan lanjut, saya nak bersama dengan Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif SWIPEY Digital Services, Kalyana Mohan Teagarajan yang bersedia pada ketika ini. Good morning, Mohan. Thank you so much for joining us. First of all, it's been 2 years since the pandemic struck Malaysia. We've learned so much about digital, and that includes for Fintech. As a Malaysian fintech company which aims to build customer-centric digital banking services for Southeast Asia's underserved modern SMEs, how do you see the trends for this particular sector and what's needed to be done to further propel the growth of the sector?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Najib. It's always great to be having dialogue around SME digitalization and the fintech sector. So generally, there's been a positive trend over the last few years within the fintech and the startup space. We've seen many innovative ideas propping up and many getting the due recognition and traction. The positive side of the coin is that the customers and the market is embracing technology. Secondly, what we're seeing is a great collaboration between traditional financial players and the greenhorn fintechs. But the challenge is more infrastructural level, regardless of whether you're fintech or another tech-related component. One is funding. Funding is hard to come by, and setups like 1337 Ventures, Scale Up Malaysia are doing a phenomenal job nurturing and propelling the sector. Penjana is another great example of what is really needed. However, there needs to be a focus on the amount and a bigger focus on speed. Now, if you think about size of funding, if you look at just Singapore last year, there were $4 billion USD that came in the form of investment or M&A within the fintech space. And UK, that was 38 billion USD, and globally we saw 210 billion. So Malaysia, I think, is lacking behind, and we need to relook at the amount to have a significant leap in the fintech space. And no doubt, fintech is an important cog in the economy, right? But if you think about it, it's akin to R&D for a company. The more you spend, the more innovation you see, and if you stop spending on R&D, you kind of cut the innovation. Secondly, on how we can accelerate this better is speed. Getting to the table and getting funds to startups that need to happen a lot faster. Regional accelerators and VCs are setting the pace here, right? They're moving faster than what we are doing here in Malaysia. For example, we, SWIPEY itself, saw a lot more inbound calls from regional VCs than we did with the local funds. So that needs to move a lot faster as well, and we need to get to the funding a lot faster so we see this grow. Now, the second challenge that fintech space or any tech space is likely to have is within the talent. Talent gap will grow. There's a huge gap between what is needed and what is available. There needs to be a short-term and a long-term strategy here. Myself, Najib, I'm a Talent Corp beneficiary. I came back to Malaysia 3 years ago. But initiatives like that need to be propelled further, continue to have meaning in the economy.
Yep. Mohan, how has the pandemic accelerated and closes any gaps for early stages of financing in Malaysia?
If you mean early stages of financing, reference to funding startups in Malaysia,
yes.
I would say it's more geographical. So what we've seen is the size of the cake is the same, it's just being reallocated to sectors that matter. So if you think about sectors like fintech, edutech, or quick commerce, where the pandemic has kind of shown the importance of digitalization in that space, we've seen funding move towards that. Minus the Penjana is purely geographical. So the pandemic has really created the awareness for it. And we've been hearing about this over the last 2 years. So really, if you ask me, it's just reallocation and geographical movement. People are focusing the funds in better places.
Based on the SWIPEY research, 94% of MSMEs prefer having a dedicated company payment card to manage your business expenses with segregation and governance and also controls. However, only 8% have access to corporate card issued by a traditional financial institution. Share with us the importance of having this system in place and how can SWIPEY fill the gap?
Oh, absolutely. So what SWIPEY is doing is digitalizing the financial operation of a business by bringing innovative banking services, especially to the SMEs. So why is automation and removing waste from the system so important? Let me throw a number to show the severity of the issue. The number is 500 million USD. That is 500 million USD taken away from the GDP yearly from the Malaysian economy due to bad and inefficient processes. These inefficiencies were bad prior to the pandemic, but now it's even worse, right? SMEs and businesses just can't afford to have such waste in the system. Let me throw another number, something a little more grounded that you might see day to day. It's 200 hours. That is the number of hours used to review and approve a single expense for a team of 10 men. 200 hours, that's a full-time employee time used for just reconciling and managing a single expense. So it's just more than just wasting time and money, right? So digitalization does more than that. It's also about employee satisfaction and retention. How can we keep employees motivated if they're performing mundane and activities that result in no positive outcome? So when we started SWIPEY, SWIPEY's proposition was simple. We said, how do we eliminate waste out of the financial operation so businesses can operate more efficiently and focus on growing? So when we speak about waste, we talk about activities that do not add any outcome. So take for an example, if you are preparing a profit margin analysis report by product line, and if it takes you 9 hours to prepare the report, but only spend 1 hour in going through the data, making decision, then 90% of the process is a non-value added activity because it doesn't really do anything, right? So how do you make the 9 hours into 5 minutes? So you spend more time in decision making and creating value. So it's SWIPEY's product. Our first product was the next generation corporate card and expense management solution. This product eliminates manual activities and waste by automating fund allocation, receipt capturing, but also increases control and reduces risk. So business owners no longer have to rely on personal credit cards to make payment for digital tools, nor do they have to share their personal card details with their employees when they want to do a marketing spend like Facebook buy, right? So with SWIPEY, we allow issuing of virtual cards and physical cards and allow tracking and managing of expenses with simple automation and reconciliation. That's our first product. We're now testing our second product, which is a simplified account payable solution, and it's called the Digital Financial Butler, which automates invoice management. So as invoices come in, it automatically reads it through our image recognition. It does the reconciliation and helps you pay out your invoices in a easy and elegant way.
Mohan, digital adoption is inevitable and it is the way forward. However, cost is always a concern for MSMEs in Malaysia and around the world in that sense. But how should companies allocate financial and non-financial resources to execute this transition?
That's a very good question. I come from a background of process improvement, Najib. So there's what I call the trifecta for an efficient ecosystem. There needs to be the tool, a digital tool, the people, and we call the process. So this three needs to work in a very cohesive and meaningful manner. So when it comes to tool, it's important that we equip the business with the right digital tool. Don't be afraid on the nominal cost increase. Digital tools always pay back. Take time to test them. Many of them have free trial periods. Try them out, right? Don't be afraid of digital tools. But once you've got a tool in place, and you've got to make sure that people, which is the second component of the trifecta, are trained well and using it efficiently. The common failure that I have seen while working with a lot of SMEs is they have this top-of-the-line digital tool, like an amazing customer relationship management tool, but no one knows how to use them or get the best out of it. So spend time training the people to use it effectively, or spend time identifying a tool that has a very low learning curve. Now, balancing that will save a lot of time and effort, right? Now, the last one, which is the process. We need to take the opportunity to rethink the process. Let's not try to digitize existing process because that processes were designed based on an old system or old way of doing work.
Yeah.
With the new innovative environment that's coming up, a new innovation in technology, we are able to rethink the process, right? We can eliminate steps that are not necessary. We can redesign it. There are multiple examples here how people have just digitized the existing process and have not seen real value in digitizing. So if you balance these three, which is tool, people, and process, you'll achieve a very sustainable and effective outcome. But not doing one of it will reduce the benefits significantly.
Yeah. Mohan, we have about 2 minutes left. I want to get your point of view about this particular topic. BNM will issue 5 licenses for digital banking later this quarter. How do you see this from fintech provider perspectives as well as consumer perspectives when it comes to microfinancing, for instance?
Najib, all positive. We are actually excited about what's happening in that space, right? And I'm really looking forward to the possibilities as both as a consumer as well as a fintech provider. So we've seen regionally and globally fintech players and digital banks working in a very collaborative nature to provide these financial services to consumers. So the benefit is fintech players bring a very niche technology and innovation as well as customer base, while the digital banks bring this much needed infrastructure, and together they have a great outcome for the underserved and underbanked consumer market. We think it's a great proposition. We're looking forward to the outcome of it and looking forward to having collaboration with the right players.
All right, Mohan, thank you so much, and congratulations again for getting second place at the Alpha Startups by Demo Day pitch during my FinTech Week 2022. Thank you so much joining us this morning. Itu tadi Mohan yang merupakan Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif SWIPEY. Kita membincangkan tentang bagaimanakah fintech ini insurans besar, tapi ini adalah berfokus kepada bagaimanakah untuk melengkapkan lagi fintech itu, penyelesaian fintech kepada PMKS yang mengadaptasi dengan begitu pantas ketika pandemik melanda Malaysia. Baik, sekian sahaja Niaga AWANI untuk jam ini. Ikuti info terkini berhubung vaksin COVID-19 di halaman mikro interaktif di astroawani.com sekarang, dan segala maklumat lain dalam astroawani.com, juga aplikasi Astro AWANI. Terima kasih kerana menonton saluran berita paling dipercayai di Malaysia. Saya Najib Arif. Assalamualaikum. Salam hormat.